What's poppin' people, SSJAipom here with episode 24 of the Super Attack Analysis series. If you're just now joining us, this series is to help you guys find ways to link into or use iconic super attacks or mentor skills in combat. If we miss any information or you have any practical tips, be sure to hook us up in the comment section below. As always, we'll be using the female Potan for testing purposes. Her stats aren't at all padded for damage in these tests, but as you probably know by now, she's spec'd for thickness. We're checking out Lord Slug's mentor skills in this clip, and all in all, I'd vote that the skills don't have too much synergy with each other, but it'll be up to you to find out how to link them with your other custom race strings or other super attacks you want to use. We're checking out Evil Eyes, Darkness Eyebeam, Darkness Twin Star, and Darkness Rush. A lot of darkness going on. Slug, who are you? Who do you think you are? Darkness Eyebeam, from what I can tell, is probably one of the more useless skills on Slug's list, and I'll say that just to explain, I guess, here. It's a light-hitting Ki Blast attack, or Ki Blast super, that shoots a beam diagonally and it kind of goes up in an arcing motion. Now, you can use the beam to block super attacks like Kamehamehas or like single burst shot things that come at you, but the damage it does is pretty bad. The recovery on it is pretty long, and it's very hard to like capitalize on it after using it in a combo. I would say this thing pretty much frees your opponent and kind of knocks them away from you in most cases, but there have been random instances of it kind of restanding the enemy. But since you don't get out of the recovery frames, it's kind of like you're still just standing there to do that little bit of damage, and your opponent is actually free before you can actually capitalize. It's very weird, very tricky. There was like one testing study we did where I somehow ended up getting it to hit several times in a row, but I guess it was as the computer died. So I don't know again if that's possible. It's a very tricky skill to use, and I gotta say, with something that seems this gimmicky or this finicky, you probably don't want to put on a moveset just because you can probably get a much more reliable, much more consistent damage or much more useful utility move in its place. So Darkness Eyebeam gets a no from me, but if you guys know anything cool with this thing, by all means feel free to share. Evil Eyes is a very familiar feeling skill. If you guys have checked out the Vegeta mentor skill analysis, you know about Flash Strike. Well, Evil Eyes is pretty much the same thing. You do a very low amount of damage if you just use a skill base, but after a knockback or a knockdown with enough momentum, you can actually use the skill and get it to attack your opponent or like trigger on their location for about 5 or 6 times the damage. So I think on Potan it was doing around like 700 base, and then it did like 3,300 give or take when you did a knockback. So this thing is it's pretty much very exclusively a combo extension, and it will do pretty solid damage if you guys actually link into it. So what can I say? This is a very easy one to use. If you've seen the Flash Strike sort of video, you know all about this one. It's the same like, you know, base mechanic where your opponent gets knocked back, you hit him for the extra burst of damage. So after one of those long extended combos, or if you feel like you're gonna like fumble your stamina break combo or something like that, you can just knock your opponent away and just go for this to get like the actual like last little chunk of damage. And the damage is very sizable on a character like Vegeta, where you can like do square, triangle into square, triangle once, and then just into Flash Strike and get over 3,000 damage. That's nuts. So to be able to do that with, like, I guess if you didn't want to go with the whole finger thing, because they're the same move pretty much, just different visual. If you didn't want to do like the finger thing, you could just do Evil Eyes for like a telekinesis sort of vibe for your character. But this is not really many like complaints I can make about it. It's usable on pretty much every race, every custom like scenario, pretty much because all the custom races have knockbacks in the combo. So that's the thing. It's not bad, guys. Darkness Twin Star is one of my favorite new moves in the game as an area denial skill, and it's something I'm very familiar with just because it's so like, it's to the point, it's very direct. You activate the skill once to have the orbs float around you, and the advanced mechanic lets you shoot the orbs off at your enemy for about 1,000 or so damage, I believe, is like what Potan hits for. So it might be a little bit less, a little bit more, give or take, depending on how your stats are spread or the race you are. But when you fire it off, this sends the 2 orbs at your enemy, and it'll do moderate low damage. More so, I think this thing is a really good area denial skill because it kind of keeps your enemy from burst dashing in on you. It kind of like kills momentum if they try to like jump in on you or hit you with like melee combos, something like that. And I'm pretty sure it can block weaker or like singular like burst Ki Blast supers. I might be wrong about that one. I haven't really had to use it in that way yet. Be careful though, because this one is very easy to get to like perfect block. The orbs are kind of very like telegraphed, and there is a bit of a cast time, but after any knockback combo or any knockdown, you can just cast this thing and have like a certified barrier for at least a hit around you, you know? It's really good for slowing enemies down and like starting up your combo links, and if you wanted to, you could kind of just kamikaze and activate this thing and just dash in at your enemy, so it's really cool. I wouldn't really recommend throwing the Ki Blast or the Ki Balls too much unless you have like a lot of skills that can kind of utilize the whole zoning air denial thing. Just keep you like, you know, in like the advantage point against your opponent. It's decent, like, but for area denial, if you're that scared of your enemy, or if you want to play like a keep away play style and kind of just trigger your enemy by just doing this and backing up the whole game, by all means, it's a really cool skill. And on Slug's moveset, I gotta say it's probably his most useful skill outside of Namek Finger, just for the sake of having that sort of defense, because Slug, he's not too fast, so if you can slow down a faster enemy and kind of just hammer away at him with like his pretty good range, then you'll be alright. Darkness Rush is one of the most savage looking ultimate attacks in the game. It's a strike super. It has very, very funky looking iframes actually when you cast it. It's probably unbreakable, but it's probably breakable, but it has a really weird sweet spot. This skill can be comboed into after your opponent is helpless, anything like that, so you can use it after knockbacks or like warp combos and stuff like that if your opponent is stamina broken. Preferably do that. This is one of the skills where you kind of want to do it when your opponent is stamina broken, just because it has a sort of gimmicky ending of it, where you do like this really strong knockback into a I-beam that seems to do about 1,000 damage, like flat base. There's no like extended like portion of that damage. But one of the neatest things with this skill happens when you end up knocking your opponent towards a wall, and they're like, the explosion will trigger behind the wall so they can't be hit by it, but your opponent is still stuck in this sort of helpless knockback state. And the knockback state is pretty much the same impulse that they would get from being hit by a serious bomb or like the ice cannon, where they can't escape it, like they're just stuck backing up. Do this after a stamina break, please, though, to be safe. But when they get hit against a wall with this thing, you can actually go into other ultimate attacks for crazy damage instead of that 1,000 like damage finisher I-beam thing. Now this is fairly inconsistent, and it does like require you to be at a point in the map, you know, where you can kind of just hold that. But I don't know, the combo itself looks fucking insane. It looks really cool, really savage, and you're just beating the crap out of people. But you should know that I believe in the Mechians and Slug himself, they actually do get a modified version of the skill where they kind of outstretch an arm and then like grab you in. And by all means, it's still the same like ultimate at the end of the day. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's decent. I would say to if you're gonna use this thing again, stick to stamina breaks. Don't do it free, because your opponent will be able to roll out of the I-beam finisher, or they will be able to get away from you doing the second ultimate to follow up if you are by a wall or something like that. So that's the thing. But hey, it looks cool. It's a really cool looking move. If you want to make a savage like beastly character, like thematically, this is one of the best ultimates to go with, especially for like a strike super character. With all of that out of the way, though, the only thing left to do is to test the skills out against Lord Slug himself. Again, synergy with each other wasn't a strong point on the skill set, but their situational uses were pretty good. I gotta say, Darkness Twin Stars is a skill that I'm already kind of familiar with, so I pretty much relied on that to kind of keep me safe and grounded, or to like get my pace back. The Darkness I-beam, guys, it feels like a wasted slot to me. I don't know if it's like some sort of OP like hidden advanced mechanic with it, but from what I've seen, man, it's not worth putting on a moveset. It kind of does leave you wide open a little bit too long, and I don't know about that one, man. But if you hadn't though, or if you have not yet, check out the other videos on the channel. We have skill breakdowns, much like this one, for other mentors, combo references and notations for all playable custom characters, races, all that. Cast characters as well, because you know I'm a cast guy myself. And extensive stamina break combo videos and general tips to bring you guys above average in terms of skill level, in terms of fighting games or Xenoverse itself. More so Xenoverse though. We got Lord Slug out of the way, so you can expect to see Hercule coming up next, who was a requested one. We still got Gogeta, we got Pan, we got all these other characters that you guys are recommending. But if there is an iconic character or a mentor skill that you would like for me to personally look over, let me know. Who would you personally like to see? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get to that character as soon as I can. We're kind of trying to set up a schedule where we can kind of drop these things more consistently in like 2 a week sort of pattern, just to get other series going. Starting Monday, we might be able to do that schedule. Like, fingers crossed though, fingers crossed. But other than that though, yeah, this has been fun, I guess. That's probably gonna be it from me though, and I hope to see you all in the very next video. Enjoy the twerking and take care of yourselves. Twerking is kind of subpar though, because Potan's, her cakes are kind of covered by, the last 2 videos are just covering the buns, man. Like they're covered pretty much in the Hercule one too. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I still love you.